get it. Okay. Welcome, guys. Welcome. Looks like we're just coming on.
Okay.
Okay, so happy Monday. Welcome back to our Monday Live. You should probably know that we do this every Monday, doing another acronym for the book, the Evolution that did came out, so make sure to get that. So we had such an amazing week. Our book launched last Thursday and has been so well received. So we are so thankful to everybody watching, everybody who ordered it. So it still continues to be #1 bestseller in teen health, so we are so thankful. But guess what? Our launch comes at the same time as our finals. And yes, that is super stressful. I also had finals. Abdullah has finals.
Qasim to elementary school, so he has no finals. So he's lucky.
In 4 years, he'll get that. But guess what? Yeah. So sometimes it is easier to avoid reality and jump on your phone. But let's face it here. We have the entire universe of information in our pockets. That comes with huge temptations and challenges. Social media comes with benefits, but also a substantial number of problems. There is less content and hand gestures. Tone of voice and facial expressions are now lost. Now with AI, that opens so many other doors than most we even know how to deal with. Most of us teens are hiding away from the pains, unease, and questions of life by sticking our heads in our phones, confiding with an AI to answer all of our life's questions, but that is coming with a huge consequence.
And right now we are living with a leash. 3 out of 4 Americans can actually confess to using their phones on the toilet, with 96% of Gen Zers said that they can't even go to the bathroom without you taking their phones. And this phone-based life, it's pulled us backwards, it's pulled us downwards. And a lot of us, we can't even function without our phones nowadays. That's why we need to start to actually focus on what's going on around us and how we can start detaching ourselves from these phones so that we can finally achieve our true potential. Because right now, if we don't do something, then we are going to suffer in our adulthood. And that's why teens especially are at a crucial state of development. Our bodies are going through incredible changes in our personality, cognition, and biology. Our brain and body are all changing so rapidly that we can barely catch up. And that's why we need to start focusing on how these tech and how phones are affecting our brains and even our bodies.
Yeah, teens are a crucial stage of development as we're the second fastest stage. We also need a lot of sleep, but we also need to know how to use tech and not how tech uses us. So where our bodies are going through an incredible changes in personality, cognition, and biology, our brains is vulnerable to the internet and consuming media. Tech companies have now gotten us hooked, and we're dealing with the consequences. Like tech companies, they use what colors of the phone they use, the timing of every single reel. Now that's what's called shorts, because dopamine effect. Like now, tech companies have gotten us hooked, and so like teens are falling into a tundra of deception, darkness, lack of authentic relationships, unhealthy distractions, lack of purpose, and wasting our time with what really matters in life. And there are so many more consequences that come with tech and media.
And that's why right now, we're all in our house, we're all at home, we're just bent over, we're neck bent, so not bent over. We're all day long, where our fingers and thumbs are on positions that are not meant for humans. We're just typing away, and especially even the light that comes from phone is causing problems. Artificial light that we are consuming daily and the dopamine hits that are keeping us addicted and hurting our health are now making us even destroying our brain and bodies. We have bad positioning. We're suffering from back, neck pain, eye strain, and not even to mention the ongoing insomnia that is then leading to even more further physical health symptoms. Social media has actually been linked to poor physical health among college students, and actually is directly linked to a lot of the mental health crisis we're dealing with today. We need to start putting limits on ourselves so that we don't fall into this addiction, and we don't let this addiction destroy us.
And bad pasta.
Yeah.
And that's why even like, chronic inflammation, heart disease, diabetes, cardiovascular disease, stroke, all of these have actually been directly linked to excessive social media use, because excessive social media use actually affects CRP, which is a blood marker of inflammation that predicts diseases that is just like the ones I just mentioned. And actually, social media, I mean, we probably all felt it before. It's actually been linked to more headaches, chest and back pain, and more frequent visits to doctors for treatments of illness.
Yeah, well, you can feel this. Like if you're on phone for like 8 hours a day, probably more, or maybe less, but like more, then you're probably definitely gonna feel headaches. And you're wondering why maybe I went on the phone for too long, what you did. But social media is like really affecting our mental health. So like social media can be both a source of connection and a cause of stress. Teens can feel more disconnected from the world. Social media often presents a curated version of reality. Like you have virtual reality now that's like leading to feelings of impotency and like fear of missing out on the world and what's going on.
And when you're gonna go sleep, put your phone in another room, because nowadays teens are on the devices before they're sleeping and like scrolling. And before bedtime, it is really bad.
So like yeah. Like we spend so much time on our phones, like we miss play, nature, and even thinking. And it also leads to shorter attention spans. Like I see it, bro. Like we go to class, like she waits for like a second, and like everybody just like goes on their phones, like just wait like a second. Okay? Our attention spans are just dying. Like we are amazing human beings, but we cannot ignore ourselves if we're never present. Like sadly, Abdullah was talking about the statistics. Most teens do not know who they really are. Social media can sometimes breed negativity and cyberbullying. Cyberbullying can even be worse than physical bullying, as it's more humiliating, happening in front of the whole world and not just at school. Like take cyberbullying seriously.
Also, I remember as described in like the New York Times best-selling book, The Anxious Generation, I think we interviewed them, and they actually, they said that staring at our phones all day can actually affect our spirituality. More spiritual practices, they involve getting together as a whole, using stillness and silence, having us focus on forgiveness and less judgment, having awe in nature and self-transcendence. But social media keeps us from all of those things. It keeps us so preoccupied with loneliness, with clicks, with that next notification, alerts, likes, and it's taking us away from actually connecting with the higher power. When people come together to practice, to move together, to share a meal together, it actually helps the entire community, it helps you, and it's going to lead to you living a better life. It actually, sharing a meal together actually increases trust and unity. It reduces loneliness. Social media, which binds us tightly to our egos, which goes against spirituality. Social media is adding to this growing spiritual crisis, which I am noticing in even my high school and in college. So remember, boredom is good for our brains. That's where the most creative thoughts come. That's when we are sometimes when we find out what we need the most, and that's from being bored. That's where great ideas come from. So always be mindful. Always, like my mom said, go on social media with a purpose. Know who is really controlling you. We're always prioritize self-care, because we can't let these phones control us. And so, Maud.
Yeah. So we at the end of each, you should probably know about the Teen Health Revolution. So every chapter, we talk about what do the holistic kids do. So to prioritize sleep, and that's not sleep. Tech limits. About tech limits is like what we do about like to prioritize tech limits is maybe having a strong routine, and like we do whatever tech limits and everything with a purpose. We go on like if we want to see something or if we want to do something, and maybe just a little break, just like 10 minute, 15 minute. And then just prioritize the time, trying to reducing it, taking screen we have screen time limits, which would be really great for people who have go on their phones for 8 hours plus. Yeah, really sort of prioritizing having a strong routine of what time you're going to start and what time you're going to end with time. I think that'll be very helpful.
And also, yes, definitely social media is affecting our sleep. I mean, a lot of us, if we put our phones next to our bed and we get a notification, or when we're trying to go to sleep, because of the blue, we check social media right before going to sleep. We check social media right even when we wake up. And we're disrupting our sleep cycles. We literally need to, especially teens, we need to check social media before going to sleep, which then leads to more EMF and more blue light exposure, which then leads to us having poorer qualities of sleep. Also, when we're trying to sleep, we're just thinking about, oh, what happened on this? What happened to this? What's happened to my friends on Snapchat? What's going on in the world? When we really need to start letting our brains having a deeper rest. And that's why I think the best thing for people to do to help prevent social media from ruining our sleep is actually try not to go at least an hour before bed. Don't go on social media. Go do something, dim the lights. Go. A lot of people say that it's just start sitting, breathing, making sure that you have your your bedtime routine, making sure that you're mindful right before going to sleep. And reading is also great. I know a lot of people. I used to read a lot right before going to sleep, because that way we don't destroy our brains by constantly looking at blue light, constantly looking at a screen, especially when right before the time our brain needs to work the most. And so we need our bodies to be able to fix our bodies. But if our brains can't do that properly, our body basically it won't work as properly as we need it to. So teens as well, and I think a lot of adults too, we need to start sleeping on time. Try to wake up at the same time, having good sleeping at least 8 hours. For adults, maybe at least 7 hours, getting that proper sleep so we can properly function and properly bring change to the world. So I think that's basically all for us today. But you want to show them the book?
This is our book.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. So you shouldn't explain that. We read a book, The Teen Health Revolution. So what we do is that we have an acronym for what we do. So we talked about the first section is that teens are in a crisis, the statistics are going crazier. We need a revolution now. The second section is talking about an acronym, how we use the revolution to define and make it easier for teens to flip to a page and know what they're doing. And REVOL, that's what we're doing on this podcast. Every week we have a letter that we do. Today was Tech Limits. So, and then the third one is 20 chronic conditions that teens are dealing with today, like digestive issues, mood disorders, acne, which is very helpful. This book is for anybody really, mainly targeted for teens, but parents want to also have it to tell their teens. It'll be very good. You can buy it now on Amazon and at your local bookstore. If you have any questions, ask it.
Yeah, and also, yes, I know, especially kids were addicted to social media. Sometimes we need to go on Snapchat, we need to go on Instagram, we need to go on Facebook. I see it. It's going on all around us, and so many of us were going down this rabbit hole, and we're because of that, our mental health is getting worse. Because of that, we're not functioning properly. And so I think the best way to help teach kids to stay away from social media, first of all, we usually say no social media before 16. But if they've already been exposed to social media, teaching them what social media does to you. So teaching them about how it negatively affects our brains, how it leads to more depression, how it leads to more anxiety, how it leads to more loneliness. Teaching them, okay, do you feel good after scrolling and scrolling and scrolling? Nobody feels good, and teach them to start being mindful, start putting limits on themselves, especially when it comes to teens. If we just tell them don't go on social media, a lot of times they're gonna just go on social media. And so I think the best way, especially as well, is to demonstrate it yourself, because if you're always going on social media, then we might also want to go on social media. And teaching, let's have some limits. If you go on social media 3-4 times, for 3-4 hours a day, try to put it down to 2 hours a day. teach them, go do other things, go outside, go into nature, start being more mindful. And if we can start bringing teens back to how we can really be and how we should be, then we teens can be so much more successful. So I think it all starts with education. And if we teens are educated, we can achieve so much in life. Also, thank you so much. We're really honored. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you. Alright, so I think that we're gonna end. If you have any more questions, make sure to ask. But I think we're gonna start ending this
Then you
live.
Then you study.
They're only 3 hours. So yeah, I hope you guys come back to the next Facebook Live. It is going to be on, I think, I Invest in Sleep. So yeah, make sure to check that out next week, Monday, same time. Hope.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Oh yeah, make sure to check out our book. You can buy it on Amazon, and you can buy it at your local bookstore. So yeah, bye.
Bye.
It's embarrassing. We saw this.
Oh,
Oh, nobody's watching this. So like.